Why, hello there. Welcome to Gaming with the Guys, Bungles After Dark. And you have your lovely host, Gaming Jason, today. But we all know that just listening to me talking to my awesome microphone is lovely for everybody, but I think I need some guests. So today, I'm joined, like always, by Gaming Greg, whose camera's actually working right now for about 10 seconds.
Oh, there we go. I'm slowly getting whiter and whiter. I am
Just
the ultimate white man.
Just like Umbrella Academy, Season 3.
Let's see if I get closer.
Ooh, whoa.
Is that getting better?
No, please don't.
Look at that. Hello.
Ooh, but you have that silky smooth voice right now, so keep your microphone there.
No, I'm going to keep it right here. All right. So, yeah, that's just me.
Yep. And this time we're actually joined by our Grandmaster, Cody. Oh, my God.
Whoa.
We're joined by our Grandmaster today. After
I made it.
Finally.
Technology, children,
The whole 9 yards. God, I know that. I've been there, done that. Finished.
It's all good. And plus, we were off last week because scheduling.
Yeah, that happened.
Summer hours, that's what it is. Bungles After Dark, summer hours. So
it was the 4th of July weekend.
The 4th of July.
Oh, there's that too. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about Canada Day because of those are the clients I work with.
It's our
until a third of Canada went offline, which was hilarious.
It was.
So, gentlemen, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while, or talked at least in a while.
Well, let's start with Cody because he's been laying the longest. What have you been up to, gaming wise or other?
Painting. A lot of painting.
We've been showing as you've been kicking our asses in that regard.
Trying to think. So since June 6th, I think I've painted a total of like 90 figures for various games. Free Blades, a couple Bushidos, some random 40k crap while I was waiting for Primer to come in. Arcadia Quest, Carnivale.
Ooh.
AKA Cody is attempting the impossible and tackling the pile of shame.
And
so
I'll have to see
if that be an inspiration to everybody.
Some of it because we have some pictures that he sent. I'm gonna see if I have to post some of those pictures of Cody's painting because it's been pretty good. Considering 90.
You can check me out on Instagram.
Ooh, we'll put an Instagram link to Cody's painted figures on the pages here.
I just need to start adding more Bushido.
Well, that would be helpful, but we're not all about Bushido all the time. Let's be honest.
Finally got a light box, so working on taking pictures of some of the old stuff and painting some new.
Okay, well, that's how we all start.
Yeah.
If everybody's wondering, I'm looking upwards all the time. That's because my camera angle's stupid.
I'll never know where to look. So.
I'm trying. Well, no, you're looking dead square on. You're doing great. Because I have to move my camera around, so I'm having technology issues. A friend of ours, and you've probably noticed that I kind of have this whole white glare thing. But if I magically go like this, it's fixed. Holy crap. Take it away? No, so much. Now, if it was just an audio podcast only, who the hell cares? But it's not. So, yeah, we're trying to fix that. Anyway, so Cody's done a lot of painting and zero gaming.
Yeah, zero.
That's it. So in the last 2 weeks, I have done more painting than I've ever done in my life, probably. I am big. This would be where I'd add a drum roll here. Drum roll says I am one figure away from getting the complete 2-player starter box painted.
Nice.
One figure. That's 10 figures. That's amazing for me. And I only bought that thing at Adepticon, so we're 3 months out. 4 months
all
out.
good.
That's actually really good
for me. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I've also painted 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Carnivale figures.
Ooh.
And 4. It definitely got 4 BattleTech figures done.
Nice.
So that's we'll say 9, 14, 18 figures for me.
That's really good.
Exactly. Jason, of course, has painted nothing.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, now that I've seen Fuku come out, so I mean, like that slightly motivated me to paint. But I mean, like it's par for the course for me. I just the moons need to align, and the celestial gods need to be like paint.
The moon,
or just all our tournaments. If we ever do local tournaments again, just need to be like, you gotta have something painted.
I think, yeah. So Jason has transitioned nicely to new releases that have come out. So both of you have seen the new releases that have come out, right? The new Silver
Oh,
Moon,
yeah.
the new Jung. You know, which one do you dread the most? Which one are you most excited about?
Hang on, I gotta pop open the app real quick.
I was gonna say I gotta
pop
double.
hang on, wait, let me pop.
the app.
I gotta pop open Discord real quick.
I don't remember which ones because I see
yeah.
everything like 6 months in advance.
Store. So I'm going to. So I'm going to start with the one that I know is going to annoy all of our local meta the most when Jason plays it, and the one that I'm going to enjoy saying his name the most, and that is as soon as it opens. There we go. Let's see if I can share screen here real quick. Well, that's not it. Oh. Doodaloo. Bam. There he is.
Fuku.
The man, the myth, the legend. They say Fuku. But we know how he's going to play with Jason.
Especially when he plays against me on tape, because I never call anything by its actual name.
That's the big FU. That's how I think. That's just how I think we should refer to him in our meta here. Is the big FU. The Asura Golden Dawn. This guy, you know, we can't fight for spit, but boy, this all in, this Gambler's Ruin.
He's another awesome support model.
He's more than awesome support. He's just going to be redonkulous.
No, he's just going to be target priority.
Ryan and our... Go ahead, Cody. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I like the fact that he's priced well at 13 rice. Like, he's not an overpriced support model, but he's not an underpriced support model. He's kind of in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
He's appropriate.
And I like that. I like that his range attack doesn't really do damage either.
Right. Yeah, not right up front.
No, not right up. That's well, you know what though? It's better than, you know, getting blitzed by Wasapu.
That's true.
The other FU and FU's brother.
I just want to jump on the table and break that model. Every single Silver Moon player is Wasapu.
And, you know, look,
not that hard. His ankles are pretty fragile.
Yeah. So
I'll just touch his wrist.
For those of you that haven't seen the card, he's a 13-point model, Asura Golden Dawn, melee pool of 2 that could be bumped when you spend 3 key, range pool of only 2, bumped if you spend 3 key, movement of 4, bumped if you... Basically, he can bump everything for 3. He moves 4. He's got a 110 on his key, so he could be easily... He is soulless, so he's not worrying about losing, you know, opposed key feats. And his 2 abilities, All In and Gambler's Ruin. We're spending a lot of time because I don't intend to talk about the other ones, because this is the only one I'm really concerned with.
I agree.
Neko's pretty nasty.
Neko's cool.
And Kokyo is just that's a big fuck you for Ryu in range.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of something. I'm not all that upset about that one.
I mean, it's just one of those. They're just side other things, but everybody's talking about Fuku. I feel like as far as like some of the new ones, he's like the most notable, interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, Gambler's Ruin. Until the end phase, target performs a test. Roll an additional die. The model's controller, Fuku's model's controller, must remove a die of their choice before the test is resolved. For a melee exchange, this occurs before dice are revealed. That's the big one. So, yeah, and it's a simple action. He's going to be... And there's no opposed. It just happens. And, yeah, pitch 3 dice for that test. I'll take that. You know, I'm going to make you use these 2. I'm going to... And again, it's not remove the lowest. It's not remove the highest. It's whatever die you want to choose. So, for those people who have Critical Strike...
Guess who ain't getting Critical Strike?
Guess who ain't getting Critical Strike unless you rolled all 3. You know, so that it's just kind of, you know, if it hasn't driven our buddy, if Brian, our buddy who plays against us at our local store, wasn't driven insane by Silver Moon, this is going to throw him over the top. Misfortune is just a whole other thing. Gains a mishap token before a damage roll on a model with a mishap token. That model's controller must flip a coin and call heads or tails. If they call successfully, the model takes takes damage as normal. Otherwise, that model takes double damage. After the damage roll, remove one mishap token. So
I think that they were really. I think that they were really nice on this one because I feel like it's not playing the full Silver Moon like high all in, which I mean I'll take it because I mean that's a benefit because otherwise, well, I mean like an all or nothing kind of thing where it's like you have the mishap token where it's like either they take nothing or they take double, which I figured, especially for him only being 13 points, they might have worded it like that. But I mean, I'll take it if it's just a normal damage roll or I have the potential to make it double.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if I'll call Fuku, FU, or Gambit Jr.
Ooh, well, now I gotta play Silver Moon because I love Gambit.
There he is.
Oh yeah, those are cards.
Change a little cloud out there, make it a cane, and he's throwing the cards out there. He's Gambit. Waspu could be your Cyclops.
I have to repaint them all.
All right, we're gonna have to convert up a X-Men themed Silver Moon force.
Actually, that'd be pretty good. You could do a lot of the Butos as like some of the bigger guys like Juggernaut, Colossus, Sabretooth.
That's a lot of Butos.
Hadokichi could easily be Professor Xavier. He's
put him in a wheelchair. Could be old Zoe too, for all we know. So yeah, so that was Fuku. That's the one I'm really worried about. For other ones, they just have that way? That would make my life so much easier. Oh, they do.
I'm most excited for tuning.
Tuning? Okay, I'll go to tuning.
Tuning, the one thing that freaking Savage Wave didn't need, or just like, how do we handle fear? Oh wait, here we go. A 7-point Bakemono.
Here he is. Tuning
that deals with fear.
I'll be honest. That's a cool looking model.
Oh yeah,
cool. It's for those of you who are just listening, it's a Bakemono. He's got this giant horn.
It's like a tuba.
Yeah, that's it. No, it looks like if you've ever seen the Ricola commercials with the guys in the Alps blowing the big horns. That's what it looks like.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But he's, again, as Bakemono go, he's a 7-point, 1 melee pool, boosted 3, 1 range, 3 move, 1 key with a star, because of course everything goes on the card. Crap fighter, camouflage 6, so you could see him a mile away. Cowardly, tiny. He just has rally.
Except the ability on the back of the card, because I could care less about rally.
The unique feature: the first time you use the summon from the shadows key feat each turn, do not mark the turn box. This will allow you to use it twice. So, if I remember correctly, from the shadows used to be, you just summon in all you want. Now they've kind of restricted it.
No, it's always been once per turn.
So once per turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that this guy is grossly undercosted. I thought it was just for him. So when you reset that, for 7 points, he's grossly undercosted. He should be 12 points just for that one effect.
You could squish him.
You can squish him, but you can bring. But I think he's a Bakemono that you can bring back.
I love that.
Is it because he's special? He can't be brought back.
He's tiny on a 40mm base.
There's that too.
I don't remember. I don't think he's a horde type. So
he's not. He is not.
Okay.
He is not. So I'll go back. He's just flat out Bakemono.
Good luck trying to get to him.
Right. You don't move him off the back line until you have all the Bakemono summoned in.
Or until Ghost comes and takes his ass out.
Guess what's on Cody's painting desk?
Shoto.
All the Bakemono.
All the Bakemono now. Okay. So looking forward to, for Cody's Instagram, is Bakemono coming. So that's tuning. So Jason had mentioned Neko for the ninjas, like they needed more crap to be evil. Where is he? Somebody's got something playing in the background.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Neko. He's some kind of weird
saber-tooth cat thing.
I don't know. Some weird
wolf
cat beast. Looks like he's crouching or getting ready to take a dump.
I was gonna say I'm gonna model it taking a dump 100%.
He looks like, I guess he's like an unkept version of Ryoken. Because look, he's got the little balls in his
and his mane.
In his mane there, the like whiskers thing. It's just his pose. I'll be honest, I think the pose could have been better, but I guess there's only so many things you could do. But he is just kind of evil. Bleeding Moon, Animal, Moon Lion, 14 points, 3 melee pool, no range because he's a beast, can't throw anything. 6 move, that's damn fast. 2 key, but can't store any. Bite, +2 damage, sidestep defense 0, powerful attack 1. Or you do Claws, sharp 2, combo 0, sidestep 0, +1 on damage. Pretty sweet. Traits of Aloof, Assassin, Camouflage 2, so he camouflages, Dodge 1, Fear 5, Jump Up, Light-footed. I think they just forgot to throw things down. Lightning Reflexes, 6 Sense, Steadfast, and this is the killer from what everybody's been saying, Vengeance, Death Sentence.
Oof.
Yay.
Yeah, that one's pretty rough. Death Sentence already sucks as enough as is, and that's just like, oh, well, Death Sentence +1. Death Sentence is extreme.
Another reason for me to spend that 3 key on turn 1 to get rid of the damn Death Sentence.
Yeah, if you have it.
Then unique effect Pounce when this model benefits from cover relative to an enemy model and declares a charge or melee action against this enemy model. This enemy model is surprised. So basically, if it pounces out of you from cover, which it's going to be in cover because it's got camouflage, it'll gain surprise when it attacks. And this model would surprise an enemy model, it gains Bonsai. So guess it's going to be charging too. Hooray! And model can be recruited in any warband that includes a Bleeding Moon and Ninja model.
Oh, darn.
Well, that's kind of nice because it means you have to take another Bleeding Moon Ninja.
Okay, but who isn't already taking Katsumi, though?
He's never in any of my ninja lists that I theory craft. Granted, I've never put one on the table, so take my word with a grain of salt.
Katsumi and Rin are both awesome ninjas to have, and then I mean the other ones. The only one that sucks is the
new guy.
No, not the new one. No, the Bleeding Moon ninjas. All the Bleeding Moon ninjas are good except for Kiretsu, the 21 pointer that just tries to be awesome, but he sucks.
Oh, the Wolverine claw guy.
Yeah.
So other models that are coming out in this new wave is Kokio, which is the Ryu gunman. He puts little flags out so everybody shoots better. Mina.
She's awesome.
Okay.
She's awesome for 13 points. She's a hit and run monster.
She's a monk. She's a water type. She moves things. She heals.
She hit and runs like a beast.
She has tidal flow, which is kind of cool. So we'll be seeing her a bunch. I shouldn't have done that. Then there's the drummer boy for Shiho.
I thought the drummer boy was already out. Did they come out with another drummer boy?
Or did they come out with his arm?
No.
Yes.
Oh, there's Taiho, the
cannon, the dude who carries a cannon, who I thought actually they made the model with a missing leg instead of it just being up.
No, that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Good luck posing that one.
Hopefully he'll be all resin.
No, that'll be metal. But he's a beefy boy, so
he's a beefy boy. That cannon looks interesting. Heavy barrel stun attack, so it only does stun. Or you fired in cannon mode, 18 inches, medium range, everything, +4 damage, pierce 2, reload 2, ammo 2, so it takes ammo. Where the hell do I get the ammo from?
You get an ammo marker on. You start ammo naturally, so you get I
need 2.
I think that might be an error because
it has to be because you can't reload an ammo then.
Because he starts the game with
2 reload markers. Yeah, that list, and then the cannon does a whole bunch. I mean, now granted, the cannon attack is kind of freaking phenomenal, but I don't know how.
The earliest you're getting it is turn 2.
Yeah, at most. Even then, I think that's iffy. Hang on.
No, you just don't move him.
With 18 inches, why would you?
Yeah. Well, you're gonna want cannon, so it'll get you 2, and then you get reload 1, reload 2. Unless there's some way to get rid of reloads, yeah. So those are the ones that they just announced, and of course, then everybody's been in the tizzy, or at least our people have been in the tizzy. Maybe I'm in the tizzy of not liking. Is Dark Pilgrim and Gray Pilgrim?
Oh yeah,
that's a whole different show.
I have both of those already.
Yeah, I may have somebody pick those up for me at the show at Gen Con, but I'm not
You're not a big fan of them?
I don't like Gray. Well, Gray Pilgrim hasn't really changed much from what she was, but that new card is just
Archalife is nasty.
Yeah, that's dumb. Dark Pilgrim I can't say because I don't think people in our meta are ever going to play Dark Pilgrim.
I will.
Not until Dark Pilgrim is the beginning of the rise of Tengu at this point. It's going to be Dark Pilgrim and Tengu.
I don't know. Somebody when we get Mutaz on next week or so, we'll find out because he has a very interesting dissension list that.
No, Mutaz isn't doing Dissension.
Oh, he is. He did.
Oh, I'll have to talk to him
Read
about
the Discord. Anyway, it's called Abusing Rules 101.
Yeah, I was reading that today.
Yep. We'll leave that for other discussion points. So that's kind of the new stuff that came out. A little long, little drawn out, but lots of new things that came out. Dark Pilgrim. I'll be honest. Dark Pilgrim and Grey Pilgrim models look great. Dark Pilgrim here, and the abilities that they both do are kind of boss. They're not that. Oh, they don't put a model there. No, they do.
Yeah, you got to go to the third
both of them
one.
call lightning. She has rapid fire X and all sorts of fun stuff. Plus, she's got the oncoming and storm enhancement.
Did that show that she worked for Kenshi?
I believe so. Yeah.
It did.
I did not notice that until just now.
She works for Savage Wave, Ninja, Shadowwind, Jung, Dissension, Shiho, and Kenshi.
Damn. So, okay, I'm not going to lie. This is like a straight insult to Silvermoon because neither of them work for Silvermoon. Otherwise, I think they cover the gambit of every other faction.
No, they don't work for
either of them. Work for Silvermoon. Holy crap!
Oh yeah,
neither of them do.
Dude, game over, man.
Yeah.
How else am I supposed to bring back Wasapu with Spark of Life? That's the reason why they didn't give it to Silvermoon is because we're going to bring back support characters.
Because they gave you FU.
That's true. This is GCT's way of saying FU to Silvermoon. Yeah, you ain't getting access to either.
Armor, Cloud Walk, Dodge, Lightning Reflexes. This is now Grey Pilgrim I'm looking at. She's equally filthy. She's just Ryu, Temple, Minimoto, because, Minimoto needed that.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. Ito also didn't get either Pilgrim either.
Of course Ito didn't, because Ito's the bestest faction ever, so therefore it gets nothing good.
Hashtag bottom tier.
Hashtag bottom tier. Hashtag Satoshi 2023. Satoshi Akimoto 2024.
Heavy Men Hair Club.
Oh, dude, talking about Akimoto, somebody painted a really nice Akimoto on the Discord.
Oh, yeah, that was heavily,
he was fucking ripped. Damn, washboard abs done perfectly.
Hey, I tried to do my washboard abs on him and failed miserably on my paint.
All right, so
contrast.
We've talked enough about what's coming up. So let's discuss on why we're here. We're back for a top 3 episode.
Yes,
and so of course we brought our Grandmaster back because we're going to talk about Temple today. Temple Brokan.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I'm sorry, Temple. I'm sorry, Temple Rokan. My bad.
Ooh, I don't want to do that. But, there we go.
Yeah, get rid of that.
So that's what we got to do for today. So this is our top 3 with, of course, our honorable mentions. So those of you who are familiar to the format, we have our top 3 models in whichever order that we say. And again, this is just what we think from our experience, either playing against them, playing with, because I just said so. And just have a nice time and just a nice discussion to hopefully spur on conversation in the community on what other people may think the top 3 models in the game are.
Or if you're trying to figure out how to expand a box of something, maybe this is something you never thought of. Again, our reasoning for getting these things isn't necessarily to be the most competitive, except for Cody. Of course, he's always the most competitive.
He won a Grandmaster.
He did win a Grandmaster.
So I guess objective completed.
So if you're looking at it, the best way to look at this episode is if you're looking for hyper competitive, listen to Grandmaster Cody. If you're looking for just
not necessarily,
my picks are pretty. My picks are kind of competitive. I'm not gonna lie.
And if you're looking for what bullshit stupidity are you looking for, then listen to me.
Oh, or me,
Gaming Greg. It depends on what it is. You never know. So who's going to start here? You want me to start? Because I'm going to just rattle through these, and we'll save the Grandmasterness for the end.
Sure.
Or do we take? Or would that take all your picks? Probably not. You've probably done something, pulled it right out of your ass. That's going to be awesome.
You never know. I might change it on the fly.
Like you do your list before
exactly
the day before
Adepticon.
I gotta paint 7 miniatures. I changed my list completely. Holy crap!
He still got it done. So I mean, that's all that matters.
That he did. All right, so I'll get things rolling here. All right, so My Temple top 3. Jace, you want to do the sharing, and I'll.
Give me 1 second because I got to pull up the wiki then and do some other stuff because
my
I'm
gosh,
reduced to
you're
one
so
screen.
not prepared.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna totally. I'm an old man. I could expire at any moment right now while we're waiting for this. Thank you. I could be chugging any one of a variety of flavors of Mountain Dew.
I've tried all the new exclusives, the gas station exclusives. They're really not that good.
Okay, is that like eating gas station sushi? Or?
No, like Casey's had Mountain Dew Overdrive, which was basically just flaming hot Cheetos without the flaming hot Cheeto taste. It was like that citrus flavor. And then Circle K had like a grape flavored one that tasted like, I don't know, it was weird.
It was weird. All right, well, there's that. Okay, so Gaming Greg's top 3. Whoa, that was like looking into infinity, except digital. So
yep, pretty much.
Ooh, don't do that. That
sorry.
Me.
Had to switch some things around.
Okay, so for my first, I'm going to start 3, 2, and 1, and I went with models that either hyper annoy me, or I'm intrigued with, or just are flat out all kinds of stupid.
Yeah, so I know what one of those is.
You pretty much know what one of them
is. It's the whole faction. It's all of it
in general. I'll admit it was a lot of hard choices for me because I like a lot of the models that are on this. But number 3, coming in at number 3, is going to be everybody's favorite dumpster diving monk, the trash panda himself, Master Akari. He is all kinds of. He is the master of defense. I can't think of another model in the game that is harder to hit than him.
That I don't disagree with. And I mean, he is definitely, for those who didn't see him before last edition, he'd be like the number 1 model, but they brought him in with some strategic changes to some of the games.
I am grateful for the nerfs from last edition.
Well, yeah, considering Josh would kick our asses all the time without really trying.
Well, and that we'll get into some of the strengths and weaknesses here. So, first bullet point, master of defense. Really, he is I don't want to say he's a beast because that's not quite the right word for him. He is just really tough to pin down. You want to zoom in on that, Jace, so I could see the card a little better? If you use control in your mouse wheel, you can do that too.
Yeah, but if I do
technology tip.
If I do that, then I'll zoom in too much. My wheel is set to high sensitivity.
Super sensitive wheel. I get how you are.
Oh my god.
Ooh, zoom in with me, Jason. I'm excited. Bro,
I'm your son. I don't think people are into that content here.
It's the mouse talking to you. So one bullet point, master defense. With all the kinds of ridiculousness he has, it's kind of obvious. The second one is he has innumerable activations. Next to an entire faction, Ryu, I can't think of anybody else who could take more activations than this man by himself. Just generating them alone.
Well, yeah, because of the
vivacity. Well, yeah. I'll get into that more. But if you're looking for a single model that can score you potentially 2, if not 3, idle flips on turn 1, this is your guy.
It's possible to do 3.
It's possible to do 3. It's possible.
Yeah, easily, and have a competitive list.
Mm-hmm. I would not disagree.
Well, he's 20 points still, so I mean, like he's a lot, but not overly amount.
It's doable. It's doable.
You're just building the list for idle missions, though. It would suck in zones.
So ordered for battle, it is. So what are some of his strengths? So to kind of back up my bullshit about my bullet points. So defensive, you got to look at his defensive buffs, his feats. He's got dodge 2, parry 2, range defense 2. He's tiny. I mean, he's got 6th sense, so you're not going to surprise him. If you try and shoot him, he's got range defense 2, pain in the ass to begin with. Oh, by the way, he's tiny, so why don't we just make that range defense 3? Good luck. His feats, he's got perfect defense. So yeah, I'm going to give myself impenetrable defense until the end of this current activation. So yeah, that 6 that you rolled on your hit, let's just ignore that. That didn't happen. So yeah, if when I say he's hard to hit, that is an understatement. Dodge 2, re-roll 2 of those dice and get rid of that one. I roll triple 6s. Great. Impenetrable defense, perfect defense, get rid of the 1/6 and re-roll 2 of them. And we'll see what happens then. Parry 2 means I'm still going to have 2+2 on my defense anyway, so good luck. Range defense, all that good stuff. So just a real beast. And he's he doesn't have dodge. He's light-footed, so he's going to go over terrain with no issues. If he gets dash, he gets agile and evasive, so he's not going to get pinned down. He doesn't have to stay in combat. He'll just move wherever he wants to. And then the ultimate FU, if you really want, if you're somewhat stupid thinking that you're going to actually land a hit on him, he'll go Counter-Strike Defense.
And it's Counter-Strike Defense 0, and he throws
0,
4
so
dice.
there's no cost for it.
Even if it was 1.
Yeah, because he's 4 in the melee
well,
pool.
if it was 1, I would hope that it would have been 1, but no, they just decided not to.
Well, it's because he's a master. Otherwise, it would be 1.
Yeah, I get that, but still, it's still rough. But I mean, at least he's -2 and he's weak, so it equals out a little bit. He's not killing someone; he's just wasting a lot of your activations.
So that's him on his defensive, and then he could still bitch slap you while being defensive with Counter-Strike Defense, or he uses a unique effect during a melee exchange. He can really rope-a-dope you during your melee exchange. After removing or adding dice, this model may remove its highest attack die and substitute in a defense die of the same value before determining final results. So then he could kind of flip-flop things around and become more defensive or attacking. So again, just good luck. He's just a pain in the ass to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing. Where does he get his activations from? Well, that comes from his key feat, Vivacity. So it's different than Vitality, which can only be used once per turn. Vivacity, he could use all the time. So therefore, he is rolling. It's 3 key active. He has to be active. So there's something there. He holds 10 key, so that means he gets his 2 normal activations. If he's loaded down with key, that will give him 3 more activations for 5 activations. I'm pretty sure there's another way to do, as long as you're the active player, you could just keep pumping him with channeling him in key.
Yeah, I was going to say the amount of channel leech and just key manipulation in Temple is insane. So,
oh yeah, but it needs to be.
Have him. He moves 4, so he can move. He can get up to 6. So he takes a couple activations to get into contact with one of the idols, then flips it. So there's 3 activations. He still has 2 more with just using his own key. Uses another one to move into range, runs over to get into range of the next idol. Pump him full of key again, so that way he has some extra. Then he flips that idol, moves over, pump him with key again, flip that idol. I mean, in theory, you could do it. Again, you're building the list around it, and it's going to be nothing better than, you're totally going for those idol missions, but it's very, very doable. So just a scary dude. Or, if everybody's exhausted, you just have him running around going trash panda crazy on him. But that leads us to his weaknesses. So it may seem like he's this mountain of you're never going to beat him, but I will say he does have his weaknesses. They are well buried. It's hard to see them. But first and foremost of his weaknesses, he only has 4 wounds. That's weaker than an Ito model. Oh my gosh.
It's true.
4 wounds, no armor, no tough. His biggest strength, don't get hit, is really important, because if he gets hit, he could get screwed. I think Zero Chart can't do 4, but it could do 3.
Yeah, Zero Chart won't one-shot him, but it will definitely
put a hurt on him.
It'll definitely put a hurt on him. If you get him on the 1, you have if you have plus anything, there is a reasonable chance you could one-shot him.
You could one-shot him, and then God forbid you put, you have any kind of condition that you toss on him.
Yep.
That used to be the way that I would take him out. I take the Hail Mary to try to put 1 point of damage on him from a range shot, and then look, it's key 3. I'm sorry, it's 3 poison. I'm sorry, because I was playing Bless. You're dead. And then watch our former player Josh cry or throw a fit and then
Poor
pitch a
Josh.
tournament.
It happened like once or twice.
Every time I played him.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
Good.
That's why he never wanted to play me.
So he quit and moved to Georgia.
Totally quit, moved to Georgia. We've never seen him again. It's not playing any more games. Maybe Magic. I don't know. So that's a major weakness. Now, granted, it is well buried because you actually have to land a blow on him. But any hit that you do put on him is gonna hurt and put him in fear. Put him potentially in fear of getting pounded again. Now, granted, there is a lot of heal spread out in Temple, but it restricts then what he's able to do somewhat. Second weakness, and this is just kind of me, he ain't going to be removing models easily. So, yeah, he's melee pool 4, and yeah, he can do that awesome Counter-Strike defense, and yeah, he's got combo attack, and I'm still trying to figure out how a little... Gotta watch my language. I was going to say little mother...
It's okay. We already started swearing. We already
reach.
swore at the beginning of the episode, so it's going to get explicit.
How it
labeled
has
right on
reach,
there.
and my man Gorak with his big ass freaking sword doesn't have reach, but this guy does with his little paws.
No,
He's got a little stick.
Yeah, it's like he's got a stick, dude.
He's got a little stick. It's like saying Yoda has reach.
I mean,
got
have
the
you
little-
seen Yoda?
It's not because he's got the long saber, baby.
You don't know that. He might.
Right.
Seen the movies. Return of the Jedi. That's a whole different thing. Return of the Jedi. Anyway, but given all that, he's not going to be taking anything out. He's -2 on his hits. Any damage that he's doing is a -2 penalty, and he's weak. So I'm rolling 3, taking my worst, and somebody's just come home. So yeah, I mean, I don't see him removing models, even though he has the ability to. Or if he does, he's really going to have to land some big hits to kind of tally it up. So therefore, the combo attack. Hit an exhausted model, pray for a good success level, a high success level, and then stage it down. But if you get to the 0 chart, 12 minus 3 is 9. You're going to do 1 point of damage at best.
Mm-hmm.
Or 12, yeah, no, 12 minus 2. I don't know why I said 3.
Even still, a 9 or 10, you're only doing 1 point of damage.
Yeah, so it was that new math invading my brain. So that's Master Akari. Royal pain in the ass. I mean, he was the bane of my existence in second edition. In this edition, he is still what I would say a monk to be feared. However, he is extremely specialized. He is your idol. If you're looking to be very threatening on idols, he is a model that you really should consider taking. Or just to pin down people, because he really can, he can really hold somebody up and hold his own on it. Can't be surprised. All the defensive buffs that he has, he could really do a number on somebody. So that's my number 3. So now your question is Gaming Greg, what's your number 2? What do you think is the best one for number 2 slot?
Baja Blast.
It's not Baja Blast.
Yeah,
but it's everybody's least favorite Buffalo, Kawa no Rojin. Or should I say Buffaloes?
Yeah, Buffaloes.
It's a fuck if you buffaloed. That's what this is, all right? He's a buffing platform. He's just probably
it's a buffing platform that also says hold my beer, and I'm just gonna go kick some ass too.
He's bullet point 1, great buffing platform, and you could take 2, because 1 isn't enough. It's like saying, hey, look, I got my old style beer, but you know what's better than 1 old style beer?
2.
A second old style beer.
I only took 1 and won the Grandmaster.
That's because you're reasonable. And also your list design didn't need you to take a second one.
I mean, that's the whole point. You don't have to take a second one, but God forbid you do take the second one.
Best 28 fucking points in the game.
Exactly.
Because you get 4 activations for them unless they're going to decide to throw the group activation supposed room around.
I mean, if you want to do a true bash into the mountain, you're running these 2, because how do you qualify putting 14 points of anything else into that list.
True.
By having the two of them. It's just dumb. I know you didn't do it that way. I'm just saying if you're playing the broken Bastions of the Mountain with the
shit, if you're playing any version of Bastion of the Mountain, not even like the super optimized one,
trap snare spam. You're still buffed out the ass though. So with all the other shenanigans,
and they still hit like a truck. +2 and brutal 1.
Thank you for taking my second bullet point there, Jason. Not only are the Buffaloes the buffing platforms that they are also solid fighters for an animal model. I mean, brutal, 3 melee pool, all that stuff is really good. So strengths. And this is, having said that it has all these buffs, we'll probably get to that, but the number one strength of this thing, given everything that this model does, and there's 2 of them that you could take, is its point cost. 14 points. 14 points, and look at everything that it can do. Bravery, cavalry move, charging bonus gives it fear 6 and slam attack 0. Great. It's immovable, so once it's sitting in the zone, good luck taking it out. Steadfast. If it botches the bravery roll, I'll still do whatever the hell I want, just 1 die less. It's tireless. So if you're beating on it because you want to kill the thing, it'll just take it. It'll go, and just take it. And tough. That could be outdone by sharp. And then it's horns, brutal 1, sharp 1, throw attack 1, +2 strength, +2 melee strength. So when you're doing the damage, it's going to hit. The unique effects, the virtue, it throws out virtue tokens like it's candy, like you're in a parade and it's just chucking them out at you. Here, you get one, you get one. And then the abilities that it gives with those virtue tokens: tireless, last stand, fearless, tough +1. Seriously, I don't know what to think. Oh, and I forgot the luck token.
Yep, it generates a luck token.
Yeah. So all that for 14 points. So I'm trying to think when they were putting abilities together, if they were drinking heavily or just lost track of math of everything that this thing could do.
I think in last edition it had a lot of similar things. I think the one ability that they did add though was tireless to it, and that's what basically changed this dude from like really good. He was good, I think, in last edition too, because I think you could take 3 of these things, but you had like the named one, and the named one had tireless.
The named one was the better one of the 2, and then they've essentially just did 2 named ones in this one now. So
they're picking and choosing of how they combine them together is just like these guys definitely need to be worth more. I mean, in their defense for their key or for their virtue token, it only works on villagers. So I mean, if you're not taking them in a villagers list, you're just basically again buffing the damn buffalo to make him even more disgusting.
That's part. We'll get to that in a second. So other strengths. So now that I've complained about his point cost and the fact that you get to other strengths, it has virtue creation machine, unique effects giving out virtue starting in the starting phase and key generation per buffalo. Each buffalo gets a luck token. So I mean, all these things, it gets luck tokens that could be used. It could create virtue, which either use on itself. That's the other trick. It could use the virtue token on itself.
Yep.
Or it gives it to somebody else. So that just makes it even worse. So tough 1 isn't bad enough. Tough 2 is really horrible if it needs it. So if you've killed all the villagers because they're easy to take out, good luck taking dual Kawadorojans out when they decide that they want to buff themselves with their own virtue tokens and luck. So, just insane. It's tough enough when there's just 1, but when you have 2, it's crazy what they can do in terms of virtue and luck. And again, those virtue abilities that they give are just really, really good.
Yeah, some of the best in the game, to be quite honest.
Yeah. It has the cav move, which means it's actually really good at moving, tireless. I mean, there's nothing on the 8 wounds. There's nothing on this card. And I put this down there. I'll just read what I put down because it was really good. Cav move 2, tireless, melee strength +2, with brutal and sharp 1. Oh, and immovable, and simply a hard to fight 8 wound model. I mean, it really is difficult to take one of these out. Now, granted, there are some ways to get around it. Range attack would be one. That's a weakness. But sorry, modeled because why, sorry, other models that are in the temple list, especially in the villagers or whatever, because why the hell wouldn't I spend 28 points to take this if I'm making a villager heavy list? I find it very hard to think of a reason why, other than it's a big base.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, again, for 28 points, you're getting effectively 4 activations, so it's absolutely worth it to because people will sacrifice 25 points just for one model for 2 activations.
Yeah. So so now that we've praised all these things, what are some of the weaknesses? How do I manage these things? Well, don't play. No.
Almost.
Weaknesses. The buffing that it does is limited for the most part to villagers. By the way, Kawaja no Rojin is a villager. I don't know how a buffalo is a villager of a city town, but whatever.
Because there's little dudes riding them.
It's got a little boy riding it. Then it's the boy that gives it, which then falls back to my rule with dealing with Temple: kill all the children.
This is true.
Fair
As
enough.
just in general, that's your rule. Is any faction that has a child, kill it.
Kill it, because it's got to do something horrible if it's out on the battlefield. So, but it is limited to buffing villagers, so thank God it can't buff the hell out of any monks or master monks.
Oh, forget that.
Second weakness, it is limited to theme. So I really can't take it outside of anything else. Well, order to battle. You could still take it in order to battle. But, within Temple itself, it's either in Bastions in the Mountain or nothing else.
Right.
So there's that. I guess that is. Last one. What I would say would be a weakness to it is I'm pretty sure the nerf bat is inbound.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
I would be surprised if it's not. And even if it's just a minor thing, take villager away from it. There's
take
a couple
tireless
different
away
ways.
from it, or up the point cost a little bit, and then I think that would make it balanced.
Just limit it to 1 instead of 2.
Yeah, they won't do that because so many people already have 2.
That's true, and they already got rid of the named one from last edition.
Yeah, give it group, take away tireless, give it endurance.
Yeah. I honestly don't know if I want to give it
endurance. I think it needs to lose tireless just in general, and then that's it. Especially if they're going to still keep them at 14.
I mean, I feel like endurance would make it more balanced over tireless, because tireless you can. How I played it at Adepticon, I just stuck it in the middle and let everyone attack the crap out of it, and he soaked up probably 3 to 4 activations. And then it was like, okay, now it's his turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that my problem is, and this is why the nerf bat, and I'm spending too long on this model, but this is a really important model for Temple, I think.
Oh yeah, he absolutely
is the fact that it can give out so many buffs, and then just by itself it gives a luck and it gives a virtue, and I think it gives out an extra key.
Yep.
I think the problem is that you could do so. Even if you make it group, you're still able to do those effects. You double those effects, and that's where I have the problem. And that's the part that I think needs to be addressed. Is it just throws out those buffs without care for it. Now, are those buffs needed to make villagers that much better? I don't know. Maybe.
I think yes, but the villagers work together to.
Right. They're fishermen. They're crappy. They're crappy fighters and whatnot. It helps them. But and I guess the problem is because they put the villager tag on Kawa no Rojin, is you could just put him on him and he's already freaking phenomenal.
So, yeah, but really the only thing you're using for him is either last stand or tough +1.
Yeah, well, because he already has tireless, and
right.
You may use fearless depending on what's coming in on you. If you're fighting something from Cult of Uri that has dread, you don't even want to bother rolling the dice. I'm just going to go fearless.
Yeah.
To make myself, or if somebody comes in with Fear 6 and Terror, then I'm gonna toss that. I might throw the fearless in there. So fearless is usable. Tireless really is the one that's gonna never get used because I already got it on him. So having those are good. Plus, long and the short of it is, if you're going to be doing, look at that. If you're going to be doing,
that I
sorry,
can go to my GitHub.
for our video, for our audio listeners, Jason just had a little pop up. It was very surprising. The long and the short of it for Kawa no Rojin, and I don't know if the others are going to talk about him more. I think we did a pretty good job covering him. He is a very solid model, and if you're playing a villager heavy list or peasant heavy list, you really seriously have to think about including at least one, if not both of them in your list. He's just that good. But he is my number 2. My number 1 may be a bit controversial.
Is it the villager fisherman?
Yes,
because fuck that bitch.
Fisherman.
Actually, she's really good.
It is not. I went with one of my personal favorite models on this, so more than likely I'll get shot down and people will stop listening very quickly. But I went with that sexy turtle riding man, Master Yakuza.
I mean, he's a really cool model, and I think the resculpt that they did with him did really nice. Also, just to defend, just from hearing, I guess technically he rides a tortoise, not a turtle.
Tortoise, sorry. He's riding a tortoise.
Apparently.
Master Roshi is riding a tortoise.
This is true.
Master Yakuza. So you got a monk, he's a master, go figure, 3 melee pool, like he's ever going to fight, 4 range, like he's ever going to shoot anything.
The day that they give him a gun, he will.
That's it, yeah. Because anyone with a gun, who needs to be brave when you have a gun? Who needs to be good at melee when you have a gun?
Especially since he's got. Oh, never mind. There's something I missed.
Yeah,
it's defensive. He's shooting in defense.
Well, defense, you don't put anything in melee, or you don't put any attack or defense. You put it all in. I'm shooting you. He's got 3 key stat. He could hold up to 10. He could boost it. He doesn't move, but that's okay. He's got a tortoise to take him all over the place. I just love the model in general. It's a cool looking model. Old man riding a tortoise, looking all serene. But when you kind of take a look at him, he is an inspiring battery.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be able to do that and be able to do that with anybody because he's 22 points. There are some other monks that are in there, but those really don't need inspiring. He could do it to just about everybody else underneath him. And he is a shutdown model. That's the best way I could describe him. If you just want to stop the game, Master Yakuza. Or if you want to stop one model, Master Yakuza.
Yep.
Which in the early days when I was playing against him, I hated that ability, which we'll talk about in a minute. So what are some of his strengths? First, amazing feats. Inspiration is solid, just all by itself, but it's giving master monk. Well, it's giving master monks who are less than 22 points an extra die, taking them to 5. That's just kind of disgusting. But the ordinary monks, the non-master ones, getting that extra die, that's really pretty decent. But the 2 biggies, and I think probably the bigger one, Aura of Serenity is really awesome. It's a once per game X complex Aura X, all non-soulless models in the Aura or in base to base with a model in the Aura, lose aggressive, may not place dice in attack, use special defenses in melee exchange, target enemy models with key feats or move through the Aura or basically he just shuts down everything and says, hey, let's all get along for a moment.
Yep, unless you're undead.
Unless you're undead.
Cold. But
yeah,
it's still a nasty ability.
I think a construct would count.
Probably.
If they're soulless.
I forgot that. I didn't realize that it was X, so you got to actually pump it. So it's a bit of a bigger.
He could hold 10, and he channeled 10.
Well, yeah, but if he's like having to send key out to other people, then it's like he might not have it. But
if he wants to blank the board on turn 2 or something like that, he sucks in the key from everybody and says, "Bam!" Everybody loves everybody.
You can also cav move and then focus turn 1. So then turn 2, he's starting with 9 key.
That's true. It is kind of filthy if you think about it, that he could the cav move doesn't count as an actual action, so there you go. But the key feat that he has that really annoys the piss out of me is Contemplate Existence. It does take 4 ki. It is a simple action. Target it out to 12, so good luck hiding. And it is an opposed ki feat. But for a man who has Spirit 1 and 3 dice that he's throwing for opposed ki feats, he's probably going to win. The only way you stop him is to get to base with him, which, if I remember correctly, Cav is a move and not a walk, so he can just walk away.
Yep.
It's once per turn. That's the only limiting factor on it. So, but basically what it does is remove all activation tokens from the target. So, hey, Ito Itsunagi, it looks like you're about to beat up on a bunch of things and go total Ginsu on someone. Boop. No, you don't. Pick whatever model you think is going to be a badass that can't get any further activation tokens and just take them all away. Oh, look, you're in the middle of something and you think you're going to go first. Nah. Now all of a sudden you're exhausted and you're surrounded by 3 monks who are just going to pound you into paste, because that's peaceful. So yeah, that feat alone is kind of filthy. Now again, it does cost 4, but again, for Master Yakuza, he doesn't care, and at least they are smart enough to limit it to once per turn.
Well, that's because I think last edition it wasn't once per turn. I think you could do it.
No,
twice.
It was once per turn last edition too. There's no way you cannot make this once per turn. Not with the way that this dude could draw in ki.
True.
That would be just sick.
It wasn't once per turn.
Oh, it wasn't? So you could do it multiple turns last edition?
I thought so. The only limiting factor on it was still a high cost ki feat, but it was just making sure you had the right amount of ki to pull in. But I was fairly certain you couldn't do it because on the one chance,
it just means you do it twice.
He's
like the Mizuki of screwing people over.
Basically.
For those of you who are not used to this, Ito Mizuki does control, and she has no limiting on it other than it's a simple action. So I get to control 2 people a turn. He just shuts down 2 figures per turn. Last edition. This edition, they've gotten more reasonable with it, thankfully. So yeah, amazing feats. And when I say inspiration, one of the things that he does,
he literally has inspiration.
He literally does have inspiration. It's really kind of cool. So just makes him a really decent support model, or a really decent model to lock things down. Next thing is he does have great supporting traits. He could channel up to 10 ki from 8 inches away, and he can leech 10. So I got a model that's doing nothing over here. Instead of having to move off the objectives because I need to get him closer to channel stuff from him, he'll just take it, he'll leech it off of him, put it somewhere else where it's needed. Or he'll just keep it himself and do all kinds of stupid, crazy ass crap. He has heal 3. Yeah, you got to get him base to base with it, but boy, howdy. Master Kari's limping around on 1 ki. Master Kari runs back to Master Yakuza and says, "Oh, Master, I'm dying." Master Yakuza goes, "I got this covered, man." Heals him 3. Now he's back to full health. It's like,
and then at that point,
that's where I just flip the table and call it a day.
Pretty much. I was gonna say more or less, I just give my opponent my dice and I just walk away. But flipping the table is much more fun.
I have no problem flipping the table. And he has leadership. Not that it's really needed, he has leadership. So that's good. And I will say, while he doesn't generate virtue tokens, I think that's one of his drawbacks, but I don't call it a weakness. The abilities that he gives, if you get a virtue token,
awesome,
are kind of redonkulous. I spend a virtue token and I get 2 ki tokens. Hilarious. Or inner peace. Boy, I've been loaded up with poison. I'm going to die. Oh, I'm going to go inner peace. I'm going to remove all berserk, blind, diseased, fire. I'm trying to figure out how you reach inner peace while on fire. Whatever. Impetuous. All those things. Poison, spirit block. Basically just get rid of everything. It's all good. You're all good. Just get rid of it all. So yeah, that's 2 really nice benefits there. So yeah, I mean, when you look at him, he's 22 points. He's not going to be much like Master Kari. He's not going to come up and bitch slap your enemies into submission, but he is going to shut them down.
He's just going to stare your ass into submission.
He's just going to look at you and he's like, "Dude, mellow out. Let's play some bongos while the rest of my monks go around and flip idols and hold zones, and everything's going to be chill. It's okay, man. Peace and love." So does this dude have any weaknesses? Yeah, just about. I will say that they've done some things where they've kind of made certain weaknesses. For Kawa Norojin, who has none.
False. Wasapu.
I was like, Wasapu's this weakness. Anything that's got a good range or rapid fire
Wasapu is everybody's weakness. That's just universal weakness is Wasapu.
Although, what is Wasapu's range?
4, 8, 12.
If he misses, he's dead.
Yeah. Well, Master Yakuza is Wasapu's weakness. I'm just going to contemplate existence Wasapu every single time I play Jason.
I mean, it works out, but I mean, the dude also has range defense too. So I mean, like,
he's also on a medium base. You're still going to be able to hit him. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily waste it on that. But yeah,
I mean, it's a valid strategy.
It's a valid strategy. Once he's exhausted, he's really easy to beat the shit out of. That's all I'll say.
Well, there's that too.
So what would be Master Yakuza's weaknesses? What would I fear? He's not terribly mobile. I mean, granted, a calf move is probably better than a normal walk 3 or anything like that, but that's the only move he gets. He can't boost it. It's just 3. And is slow. Not that it matters, because again, he can't run. Just means he's striking last. Not that he cares. He's probably going to go all defensive when he does it anyway, which he has to because he's defensive.
And he has sweep defense. I just realized that right now. So I mean, like, he's got an awesome
sweep defense and push defense. Yeah, he just keeps knocking you down, laughing at you from the back of his tortoise as he's smoking his big bong.
Cody, you need to monitor.
No, there's Cody's going to fashion a bong.
I'll have to do that for Josh.
Oh my God.
That's how he contemplates existing.
He's contemplating his existence. Yeah.
I'll have to pull up the Thingiverse and find a 3D print.
3D print of a little bong.
So, and then last weakness is he doesn't generate virtue tokens. And I said that, it's not much of a weakness, but it's something that I would love him to do. And if he did it, he would be freaking more awesome than he already is. So for those are my top 3. Yeah, maybe Yakuza's not number 1, but I put him at number 1 because I think he's a cool looking model. I love the concept behind him, and I like the fact that he could just give the big FU to just about any model on the board. I mean, and the contemplate existence also works against Soul. Well, you can't roll it against Soulless, but
because it's an opposed key test.
It's an opposed key test, but man, essentially you're just shutting down a whole bunch of things.
Pretty much. Any honorable mentions?
I do have one honorable mention. I'll be very quick with it. My honorable mention is Kenko. If in Temple, Master Akari is defense, and he's all air and water. He moves, he flows, he's all this. Kenko is defense, earth and rock. So Master Akari is don't hit me. Kenko's like, I'll take it.
Pretty much.
And then he'll regenerate it back.
That's exactly it. He'll take it back. And in a faction that is mainly defensive, and some will argue that they can have their offensive moments, but they're really not terribly offensive. I would say they're probably more defensive movement kind of shenanigans to a certain degree. He could generate some very big offense when needed.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, when you look at him, his combo tackle, he's a monk, but he's got the melee 20 points, melee pull 4, movement 4, key 2-8, range 4. Not that that's ever going to matter. All of it boostable by just 2 key. It's the fist of iron. He's already hitting at plus. Is that +1? I can't even see because it's +1 in his Bojitsu. So he's got the +1. He uses his fist of iron. He could get +3 on it. So now all of a sudden he goes from a +1 to a +4 with combo attack. And he could get 5 key to do it.
Oh yeah.
His regrowth is 1 key and it's an instant, and he'll regenerate 2 and body evoke. So he could gain armor up to 3 with tough 1. So yeah, he could take a beating. And he's got, I think he's got 8 or 7 wounds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 7.
7 wounds. So, yeah. Master Akari, you're never going to hit him. Kenko, if you're going to hit him, you better take him out in one shot because otherwise he's coming back.
Yep.
That's my honorable mention.
Okay.
That's my honorable mention. So those are mine. Tell us what you think about them as we move into everybody else's. So Jason, why don't you go? Because like I said, we'll wrap up with Grandmaster Cody.
For sure. All right.
Everybody's treat is Grandmaster Cody. I'll do the sharing if you want now, Jason.
No. Okay. So we'll start with my number 3 pick. Very similar to your honorable mention. My number 3, I took Suchiro.
Suchiro? Where are you, Suchiro? There you are. All right.
So he's one more point than Kenko. But for me, my holding point or my big points are badass man mountain. I think that he's and the issue is that it's more of the caveat with the Grotto, so that way he can get the extra key to just be.
Oh, the Grinto. The Grotto. Was he at Hugh Hefner's house? Hey, man, I'm going to go to the Grotto and I'm going to feel real good.
I know. I was like,
Grinto.
The Grinto.
Yes.
Now I really want to. You know what? I want to make a terrain piece and just call it the Grotto, and everybody goes to contemplate their existence or just get along.
Pretty much.
Yeah, 3-inch aura around the Grotto where you have to be. You can't put any dice into attack.
Oh my god!
Hey, man.
That's what I'll make for my. That's what I'll make for my for my card because I still haven't thought of any good ideas. I'm still difficult. I'm still trying to figure out how to embody my card.
You put Naruto and sexy Jitsu right in the middle of it.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
Back to Suchiro. So badass man mountain. He hits just as he doesn't hit quite as hard, I guess, as Kenko does, but at the same time, he doesn't need to spend as much key to hit as hard as Kenko. Or well, I'm trying. He can still hit just as hard or relatively hard and not have to worry about spending as much key.
Yeah,
he is definitely also great for zone control missions. You park his ass in a zone and you literally either kill him or you're not getting that middle zone. I know I came up against him a couple times at Adepticon and it was just like, fuck. It was. I mean, and in the occasion that I did kill him, I mean, that'll lead to kind of like my one disadvantage for him a little bit. And it's not really much of a disadvantage. He, with having Resolve of Rock and that Stubbornness of Steel to give himself regen and I think he increased it in I forget what the other one does.
Let me run through Suchiro really quick for people who are just listening. So Suchiro 21 points, monk, melee pool of 4, movement 4, range 4, ki 2-8. He could boost his ki and his melee pool for 2. He has Bujitsu, which is combo 1, slam attack 1, push defense 0, plus 2 on the melee strength. So right there, he's already one better than Kenko. He has bravery, immovable, indomitable 1, kata, who doesn't, range defense 1, resistance 1, and tough 1. And then he has resolve of rock and stubbornness of steel for his key feats, which are 3. Both of them are 3, cost 3. Both are active and both are personal.
Yep. So, I mean, once you get himself locked into his own one, as we're going over things, he can push people out of the zone. He can slam people out of the zone. Even if you gang up on him, you're not going to, unless if you commit extra numbers to him, you're not going to take him down. And then if you don't take him down in one shot, he'll end up healing himself back up. Plus, even still trying to take him down in one shot, it's not going to necessarily do it because he can give himself rise. That's what it is. So he can give himself tireless, which is already nice and what you want for a zone holding model. And then it's gaining rise 3, which is wicked because it's better than other rise tests. And playing the gorilla, I understand how people get pissed when it's like, fuck, you made that rise check.
Yeah, so
and he's rise 3, so it's
stubbornness of steel gives him the rise 3, resolve of rock gives him tireless and construct.
Yep. So both of those are both really wicked for a model that you want to hold. I did tend to notice whenever I play against Suchiro, and this kind of just leads to my one weakness. He tended to be like the fulcrum point of the army, especially for zone. So once he went down, I noticed that it was really difficult for some of the players to come back from that, just losing him. And a lot of the temple monk and a lot of the templarists I played, I mean, you have a lot of variety of monks to take, and I find it really difficult where you really want to take like Suchiro and Kenko, or Suchiro and I'm trying to think of the water one.
Riku.
Yeah, Riku, who follows the same profile. You can do it, but you have a lot of other monks, and there are other areas that they cover better. That I find it difficult. That I would find it, at least me playing Temple, that I would really want to take. That I would really, even though it'd be really cool and I think it'd be useful. There's other monks to cover other functions. That it's really difficult for me to justify taking another one of them. Riku's maybe the only other one, but even then, I would still rather at that point I'd still only take maybe Riku instead of Riku and Suchiro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Suchiro, he's a badass. He could hold his own. And he's definitely different. That Rise 3 kind of,
it's wicked.
It's pretty wicked. Absolutely.
He is key hungry though.
That's true. That's the reason why he's my number 3, because unless if you really pair him with the Garinto, he's still really good, but he's definitely that's a lot of Temple monks, so they're all key hungry.
Yeah.
They get it, and there's still access to channeling. There's the Grinto. There's, if you have virtue tokens, and Master Yakuza for some bizarre ass reason is with him.
Or the little girl, she can throw her virtue token out, and she's like, "Oh, 2 key for you, thank you."
Oh, she does the same thing where she could give out 2 key on her virtue token. Then she's much better than Master Yakuza in that. So again, kill the children.
Pretty much.
Kill the children.
So that's my number 3.
That's your number 3?
So my number 2 was Trash Panda, Master Kari.
Oh, the Trash Panda. All right.
And that's just more of just kind of like, Suchiro is someone who I would definitely take to try to cover zones. And then, like, as you talked about earlier, Akari for 20 points, he helps me cover my idols if I need to. Putting them both together in a list, I don't think I could easily pull that off unless if I'm playing Order for Battle. So I can swap models out. But otherwise, Akari is definitely more of my idol grabber if I'm focusing more on that. Probably one of the best idol grabbers in the game, to be honest.
I wouldn't argue that point.
Me either.
So, I mean, that's the big thing. And he can hold down his own. I know that we kind of talked about that lightly. You don't necessarily want him engaged, but he can waste enough activations. And with split attack, in his own weird way, he can kind of hold down his own, especially if someone's thinking that they're going to be able to send it in with like 2 mooks and try to get in there. They're not going to outpoint him, and he'll waste their activations. And they're not going to actually they're not going to pose much of a threat to having him, to actually like winning him out, even if they outnumber him.
Yeah, I think it would be, I don't know if you have somebody come in the zone, or he holds the edge of the zone, or he engages something before they enter the zone and then just doesn't let them go.
Pretty much.
He could do that for sure. He's so defensive, and he's so, again, much like Suchiro, I could say he's key hungry to a certain degree, but if you don't feed him key, if you're not going to make absolute use of vivacity, he could pretty much hold his own.
Yeah. Definitely. He's also, I have listed here, he's the super harasser, because whether it's flipping idols or, like I said, if you get stuck in with him and he chooses that he doesn't want to get out, you're not going to get away from him.
He does
what he'll catch up, and he'll bug the shit out of you.
Trash Panda going to do what a Trash Panda does. Whatever the hell it wants.
Basically.
The one weakness with him, and this isn't, again, more of a weakness, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, Greg. If you get one lucky shot, he can go down fast.
He goes down like a raccoon that I run over with the front end of my Ford.
Oh my god!
Or if you outnumber him and he's exhausted, he's only on 2 dice.
That is true.
I mean,
that's also true.
The key. At least the key I have found to fighting Master Akari is basically just don't throw anything in attack.
Yeah, it's super risky, and even when you're saying you throw him, you can try to take him down on 2 dice, or you have a chance to if you can like outnumber him. The motherfucker still has parry too, so he's already getting a +2 stat bonus. So even on 2 dice, it's like I really don't want to risk that, because especially if he combos or if he counter strikes me, he can get a 9 if he maxes out, and I'm just like.
I find ways that if you could throw conditions on him, and there's a couple figures that just do it. So Dafukaya would be the one that comes to mind. There's another one. There's another one in in Ito that just puts out poison on everybody, puts a poison 2 counter on everybody that's within his aura. Kazuko, he's one of the
snake people.
No, he's not a snake person. He's one of the sacrifice people that they run out and they can use as
one of the acolytes.
Yeah, one of the acolytes, but not one of the fighter acolytes. But Dafukai is the easier one where he just puts that flame burst out and puts a condition on.
Yeah,
that's one way of dealing with him.
Turobo, Kuma, Grey Pilgrim, anything with the stun.
Anything that can, if you're lucky to hit. Well, Turobo throws it out automatically. Oh, so does Kuma though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grey Pilgrim's got to work for it a little bit more though.
Yeah, but still.
It's Grey Pilgrim. Who cares?
That's also true.
Or if he hits her.
That's true.
As long as she's electrified. If you forget to put the electrify on, then, there's that.
There's ways.
There's way. Again, there are ways to take him out. It's just
not every army can do it easily right away.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Usually I just ignore him. It's like, okay, yeah, you're going to go over here and flip idols or do whatever you're going to do. I'm just going to, try and tie you up, even though I know that you can vivacity a million times, but I'm going to focus elsewhere.
Yeah. Or I've noticed that if I have to engage him, I just try to waste him as much of ki as possible.
Right.
That's about the only other way that I deal with him. So that's pretty much Akari. So my number one is the bull. For right now how the meta is and how the card currently is before adjustments are made or until he gets hit with the nerf bat. To me, he's the number one figure right now in the faction. He's 14 points.
I can't put him at number one because, and again, go ahead, Cody.
We're probably going to say the same thing. If he could go in all the themes, absolutely number one. He can go in one theme or the Ronin themes, that's it. So, yeah, he's extremely good, but he's limited in that. So I cannot put him at number one.
No, and that's kind of why I put him at my number two. I won't. I'll be honest with you, Jace. I'm not going to argue much about you putting him at number one because he is damn good. But for me, he doesn't make it because he does have he's limited in who he affects, and he's limited in where you could take him.
I guess my thing for the reason why I did it is more for just how my play style is. You guys know 9 times out of 10 until like more recently, I end up going into a game. Oh, what's your theme? I didn't make a theme. I just went with these models and I broke theme like forever ago with this. So for me, in my case, even though I haven't played really any Temple, I think that with the amount of options available to me in Temple, I could find a very interesting combination to work where it's like, yeah, it might not be the best with the certain themes, even though that helps a lot. And then worst case, I guess I could just throw it in for order for battle, but most of the times I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
But let's see what my talking points were here that I wrote down last week. So my first point is 14 points of badass that has some of the best abilities in the game, which is not wrong.
It's almost mirroring what I say. I prefer the buffalo.
Right.
TM.
But I mean, yeah, he's got some of the best abilities in the game. We already kind of covered which ones he has, but
he's very good.
He's really good. Point 2, which I know you didn't talk about, but I mean, it's not really a big point, but it only is just because he is an animal and he's got access to the cav move. He's one of the few animals that can actually take scenario actions, and having that with the cav move, that's huge. Because if you just happen to be in range, yeah, you might not want to take a scenario action, but screw it. You're on a large base to begin with, and then you get the cav move of 2 inches. You got a high likelihood that, depending on what the scenario is, that you can place yourself next to a scenario and then flip the idol if you want to, and then go do whatever the hell else you want to do later. And not the fact that he's not aloof.
Yeah. Turn 1, you're already moving 8 inches plus whatever your base size is added into that. So,
So, and the fact that he's not aloof and everything like that, and he has those benefits for being an animal keyword, that's huge to me. So he surprisingly can cover all the mission types. You prefer him, I guess, to be kind of in his zone, but he can still do idle flip and be like, oh shit, you wouldn't necessarily expect it for something that big.
What scares me is the fact that they have, keywords: villager, animal, buffalo, which means
At some
point along the line, they're going to have something that's keyworded to Buffalo.
Or they thought about it at one point.
Frightens me.
Or it could be my model that I'm making.
Oh,
I made the Buffalo. I made the Buffalo Master.
Buffalo monk. Riding on Kawaja
Buffalo
monk.
Cool. Like a Minotaur riding on a Kawanorogen.
That'd be kind of hilarious. And then I also put I put this as a benefit just because, I mean, to me it still is. You can still take 2 of the damn things in the list. So for 28 points and you're getting 4 activations. Yeah. I know I commented earlier on this. I mean, there are people that pay. Well, crap, Timbatsu's 27. So and Black Eagle is too. So I mean, people are almost paying his rice points for 1 model. You get 2 of these, and they're really good. Mm-hmm. They can kind of buff each other out, and I do agree that they don't maybe work in all. They don't work in all themes, but I mean, even just taking it as a solo character, it's the same way that it's the same thing that I almost found with Oda and Tantalo when I took them together for Adepticon. Do they work better buffing people? Absolutely. When they want to be selfish though and just be like, I am the main man, I was very pleased with the results that I found, and the fact that you can take 2 of these things and you could do it with the same mindset. To me, even the only issue is I think they can't go in any of the monk themes. Is that right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
They can only go in bastions.
Okay, so that's about the only kind of drawback point. But I mean, otherwise, I would still be fine taking these without any theme.
You could still talk. Yeah, you throw them into order to battle. But again, the issue is they could only give a virtue token to the friendly villagers, so monks can't get it.
Yeah,
unless it's villager monk, which I think there's.
It's just Taiki.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Like I said, I mean, that's why I would just play him selfish. And I mean, with all those abilities that are on there, which we talked about each one, even though he already has tireless, I mean, those 3 other abilities are absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I would love to have any of them. Tough +1, so he goes to a tough 2 model. Thank you. Especially being on a large base model. Fearless, nice and situational. Last stand, I don't see why I wouldn't do it, especially if I think the thing's going to die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used that a couple times at Adepticon.
It's again, it's a great set, and it's very usable on themselves or other models. So yeah, it's.
And then disadvantages I put, which you already talked about, most effective in villagers, but it can work with monk, I guess, in a sense. If you just wanted to just be like, you're gonna fight along with me. I'm not expecting you to buff me, but go ahead and make yourself just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then he is a large base, so he is susceptible to being shot at, which we found out in our one battle report where Cody's like, I will keep Waspoo at this baseline. Fire 12 inches, and I still really messed up the bowl.
I forgot to put that as a large base, but
that's about the only other major thing. But again, it's still mute by the point that you, depending on how you do it or how you build your list, you take 2 of them. If one goes down, it sucks, but you got a backup one, which I found playing against Bastions of the Mountain, that's like, that just sucks in general. If it's a normal list, or if it's like an order for battle and you happen to take 2 of them, it sucks, but it's still fairly recoverable from.
All right, so those are your 3. Do you have an honorable mention?
Yes, I didn't write his name down though, but I think it's Soku, monkey with a hammer.
Kosuke,
thank you. He is my honorable mention. Why he is my honorable mention? I just think he looks cool as a monkey with a giant hammer. So model's pretty cool. And just seeing him in practice, and I know that's mainly watching you, Cody, or playing against him. on paper, I feel like he should be like in my top 3. He should be badass. He should be in my top 3, and he should be better than what he is. But I just find it very there's something that's missing with him, and I don't know if it's just the faction, how Temple tends to lean towards being more defensive, and he can kind of be like, I can kind of go all out, and I rather fight. If that's where there's like a mismatch where he's just not gelling well with what the overall core of the faction should be, or what it is. But I mean, he's an average fighter, but with his key feats, it's a special that it is.
Yeah.
His special, being able to choose one special attack and one special defense, and all of his specials are on 0. That's huge. And then he can also give himself more specials with his instant key feats. So he has access to all of them in the game on 0, and he can basically pick the situation that he wants to be in.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening, I'll go really quick. For Kosuke, I should say, 21 rice, Sohi ape, 3 melee pool, 5 movement. That's pretty damn quick. 3
quick.
range, 2/8 on key. He has a shish bar, which is his big hammer. +1 melee strength, reach, combo 0, combo attack 0, sweep attack 0, sidestep defense 0, sweep defense 0, armor 1, bravery, feint 1, indomitable. These are traits. Indomitable 1, jump up, light-footed, split attack. So he could actually engage 2 models, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Feats are flow like water, four-handed technique. Both of them cost 2 key to do either one. They're both instants. They're both personal.
And the only real reason why I picked him probably like over Kuma, which would have been my second like option for my honorable mention, is just one, he's a little bit more protected from range in the sense that he's just a small base model, even though I know Kuma can give himself range defense. But I just think as an overall model, he's super cool, but I want him to be better. And I'm hoping that maybe me saying this will find people will chime in on like, this is how you can get him to work to his full potential, or at least in a better way, just to kind of see what he can do.
I think the only thing that he lacks, because you want him to be a hitter, because he's so good at combat, because he could take all the different defenses and attacks, the thing that he lacks is something that is common, is both uncommon in Temple, but common and then one that's common. He doesn't have martial prowess, so he can't make any rerolls on his attack dice, and he doesn't have kata.
Oh, that's
so
true.
There's his weakness. He cannot reroll dice unless you give him like Kotai's coin or something.
He's both him and Kuma kind of suffer from the same thing too, and that's their rice cost.
21,
because
it's pricey.
If he was ideally 19, but even if he was 20, yeah, that one rice doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, except for then you have a Koji's pack, but whatever. The other thing I think that would really fix him, but might put him way over the top and actually require a price increase, would be if they gave him a melee boost of 2 instead of the 3.
I was thinking that, or if he had brutal, because I know Kuma gets it. I would think that this guy would be more appropriate to have brutal than Kuma, almost to an extent.
No, brutal would he'd be like 25 then.
Yeah, that'd be too
being
much.
able to sweep defense you and combo attack you at the same time with brutal,
and have feint.
Yeah, that's the big thing is feint.
Yeah, I mean, for me, in my list, I took him because he was cool. I painted him literally the day before Adepticon, and I was like, well, I need something for an idle mission, and what's an easy swap for Suchiro in case I can't do basic math? I was like, oh, this guy's 21 rice. So
like me doing basic math, you have 3 extra points to use. Oh wait, I've been practicing handicapped apparently.
Yeah, but marked it and slap you.
I mean, it was pretty damn close. I'm pretty sure.
Kosuke is fun. I do like him, but at the same time, it's like, okay, do I take this guy or do I take Master Kari? Do I take Kenko? Do I take?
You have a lot of options at that point value.
You do.
There's a lot of other options, or do I pay the extra rice for Kuma? Because I feel like Kuma is better, except for his rice cost. If Kuma was 21, I would have taken him in my Adepticon list instead of Kosuke.
I think Kosuke has the speed. I like the speed 5 because, again, but now granted, you do have monks that you could get that. Now, for your particular list, that speed 5 was going to be fairly valuable.
Yeah, that and light-footed.
Yeah.
Because Greg's tables.
I mean, they're definitely a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it definitely helped me, but I mean, like, it definitely made me think on something like, oh shit, how am I gonna deal with this?
But I'll say Kosuke again. Kosuke is 21 points, and given all the benefits that he has and the fact that he could use an attack and defense, what's the word I want to say? Special attack, special defense at the same time. I think that puts him right. It's again, realistically, to make him fight like others and make up for the lack of martial prowess and make up for the lack of kata, you want to almost buy Hotai's coin, and that jumps his price up to 23. And then at that point, that's too much.
Like I said, I want him to be good, but the point cost is a factor too. It's just like, you have so much cool crap. I want you to be awesome, and it's just like I can't get it. I can't figure out how to make it work, at least. But I still think that he should get his. I think he should get his spotlight, which is why he's my honorable.
Oh yeah, I think he could perform well. Absolutely.
Actually, looking at his card again, another fix might be just bumping that key stat to 3/8, and if you don't want to give him the ability for opposed key tests, giving him like built-in prayer beads, just so he gets that extra key, because that would allow him to actually use some of his key abilities or boost. Or
that's true.
Because when I was playing him, I just found that it was either I boost or I use the ability. So I never used any of his abilities at Adepticon. Yeah, it was always for boosting.
Well, it's because, I mean, his abilities are awesome, but I mean, it's super situational depending on which ones you need, because one of them gives you throw attack and throw defense, and then the other one, I think, is push.
Well, and that one, the four-handed technique is the one that gives you, well, flow like water gives you push, but it also gives you dodge. Four-handed technique is the one that I find the most interesting, because now it becomes a guessing game.
That is true. I did use that once, I think.
If you really need to throw somebody out of the way or knock a couple models down using throw, because they're susceptible to being knocked down, you're basically dictating it, because they're guessing, all right, he's either going to put it in attack or he's going to put it in defense, and I got to cover both. And you could just load on one. I mean, the safer one is to throw it in defense, but
or you do both and you split it 2 and 1.
2 and 1. I mean, you could still do it 2 and 1, but again, it's. I mean, it adds that. So the dice game, the placing of dice in attack and defense is a part of a bluff in Bushido in general. This four-handed technique takes that to another level.
Yeah, because you know something's coming.
You know something's coming. You just don't know which way it's going to go. So you got to kind of outguess your opponent a bit. So yeah, that's cool. I think he's still a solid honorable mention. I like him a lot. So those are your top 3 and your honorable mentions. So now we will move on to the main event, the main course, as it were. What everybody wants to know is, what is Grandmaster Cody's top 3 temple?
I thought everybody wanted to know how Grandmaster Cody improved the Flaming Hot Cheeto Margarita, because I'm still kind of wondering if that ever got improved.
Does that get improved?
I don't think that will ever come back.
It's like heartburn. It always comes back at one point or another.
Yeah. So for my number 3, it is Koji's pack. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, damn it. I was going to be like, I thought you were going to maybe do that. Otherwise, my other honorable mention might have been Koji's pack, but
that's like the second honorable mention.
That's true.
It doesn't deserve
only one tonight. Only one honorable mention.
Actually, for my 3rd spot, I'm going Master Poe.
I like that one.
This model it's a beautiful sculpt. He's a little pricey at 25, but he's the kind of monk that it's like, well, what do you want a monk to do? Everything. Okay, well, that's Master Poe.
Yep.
He's well worth his 25, 4 attack, 4 walk, 310 for key, range, whatever.
Range is 4. He does it all good.
When they come out with the monk gun,
he's good.
When they come out with the temple gun, he's gonna get that.
Right. No, he's really good. He's got good offensive and defensive abilities: slam attack, counter strike, sidestep. He's got cloud walk built in, which I did not realize. And when I faced Master Enos, it kind of took me by surprise. But yeah, just all around, he's solid. He can take a hit. He's quick when you don't expect it, especially when paired with an air commie, which was the gotcha.
Well, I mean that, or even if he boosted his own damn thing, all of a sudden he's cloud walk on a 5, then he becomes Chio.
Well, yeah, he can be really fast, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Really nothing but good things to say about him. As far as like weaknesses go, it's really just the cost.
Yeah, and his key feats are solid. He's got 3 of them.
Yeah, I can't remember what all they do.
Crashing Wave Strike, it's 4 active personal models melee weapons get unblockable 1 until current action. And then to counteract that, you get Perfect Defense, which is 3 instant model gains impenetrable defense until end of activation. And then the last one, Wasp Punch. It's 2 instant personal model gets strong until the end of the current melee exchange. So he's either going to hit you like a ton of bricks, he's going to defend without having to worry anything, or if he's going to hit you by the ton of bricks, you're dropping 6, and he's going to beat the shit out of you with with one big punch.
I don't know why. I mean, besides, I guess, giving it a different name, I'm just trying to figure out why they. Okay, yeah, there's no difference. I guess they just wanted to make sure they had something worth more instead of giving him Tenuchi. Because basically that's just Tenuchi, but it's just more expensive. Because I'm
Which one,
looking
Wasp
at it.
Punch?
No, Crashing Wave Strike.
I think it's because it costs more.
Well, it does the exact same thing. It's just unblockable 1 on all the weapons.
So is Tenuchi usable only once per turn?
No, it's not. At least on the at least like I'm just looking at the easy one, which is Katsuma.
I think Crashing Wave Strike sounds better.
I mean, they're paying an extra key, I guess, to make it sound better. I mean, It's probably just a design choice that way. Because honestly, if he could do unblockable at 3, then that's just like, he's all of a sudden he's a bargain then for 25 rice.
I was gonna say he would have to be like 35 at that point.
I mean, that's the only reason why, because I'm looking over at Hero 2, and he's also got Tenuchi, and it's the same thing. He's models weapon gains unblockable 1 until the activation's over. Or the current activation's resolved. Yeah, it's the same thing. So I guess it's just more of a game design choice.
Yep. I don't
probably just a carryover from first edition.
Very true, but like I said, if they gave him Tenuchi and basically is like, oh yeah, unblockable at 3, and also I can perfect defense at 3, and I know I can easily find that extra key somewhere.
He still is a small base. Okay, just checking something.
That too. That's the other thing.
He's a small base,
making everybody dizzy by flipping back and forth between cards.
Well, those who are
and I think he's got 7? Yeah, he's got 7 hit
7
points.
Wounds. Yeah,
7 hit points. He's got
Puff 1.
Yeah, 6 Sense. Good luck trying to surprise him.
Yeah, if you're getting into Temple and you buy the starter box, even though he can't fit in the initiation theme, but if you just want one more model to kind of fill out, or maybe start looking at Righteous Warriors, this would be my go-to.
Yeah, I could see that. I fought against him once or twice in last edition. Pain in the ass.
Yeah,
he was always in Josh's list.
Yeah, that's why.
So yeah,
all right.
Not much else to say about him. He's just good.
He's good. All right.
He's the jack of all trades, master of most.
There you go. Yeah, he could be very defensive with Counter-Strike defense, all those things. So yeah, he's solid. Okay, so that's your number 3. What do we have for numero dos?
My number 2, Kawana Erosion.
Kawana Erosion. What else can we say about Kawana Erosion?
He's got 2 friends in Temple, and that is Taiki and Ayoko.
I was going to say 2 friends, and one of them's the other Kawana Erosion. That would have been a better thing to say.
He's got 3 friends.
He's got 3 friends.
Other Kawana Erosion and these 2 monks that he actually supposed to help.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's all villagers just because of the buffs. But
so he's like Barney.
With Taiki, he gives him the extra key for all the trickery. He gives him, the virtue token, and then when you have Ayoko or Master Yakuza for the void ability to give him 2 extra key, so not much else to say about the Kawa. You can leave Taiki up.
Oh damn, he's your number 1.
Yeah, I got to go to a different thing for Taiki, unfortunately. Give me a second.
Oh, they don't have his card on there?
They do, but I can't highlight it like I'd like to.
No.
So yeah, I think we've covered everything with the bull.
I think
there's not much else that
we've beaten that bull to death.
Bottom row.
I'm getting there. So Taiki is your number 1. That's a surprise.
That's a surprise to me.
Taiki?
I mean, I guess it's not a surprise, but because I know you like Taiki, but
that's the main reason why I picked him as my number one. It's really not that I necessarily think he's like the best model in Temple, but with him, whether you take him with the Bulls, whether you take him in a Righteous Warrior list or wherever you take him, he's just a lot of fun.
Now, is that on the caveat that you have to have Nisuru with him, or are you taking Taiki by himself? Because it's the combo with them, then I mean, like, I know they come together as a blister. It's just the format doesn't allow for both of them to be like a number one.
Well, I would say to be perfectly honest, I would say it's number one. It's so this is a first. We have a joint number one, but it makes sense because, well, I'll let Grandmaster Cody kind of run through it as to why the two of them together make a dynamic duo, as it were.
Dynamic duo. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I could have done right. So Taiki himself, he's only 10 rice, which is nice. His buddy Nisuru is 6, so the combo deal is 16 for 2 models, 4 activations.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad at all.
No, it's good.
So we can start with we'll do Taiki since he's the main man. So 3 melee pool, 2 boostable. He's only got a key stat of 1/6, but that's why he likes the Kawa no Rojin. He's just an average fighter. His special abilities are all at 2 cost, except sidestep defense at 1, so it's really hard to do any of that, but
yeah.
I really didn't care too much about that. Basic abilities, dodge 1, jump up, average. He really shines with his key feats, and this is why you need to take him with the monkey. So Ape is nothing to do with the monkey, but he can basically use the special attacks and defenses that are non-exceptional of other monks within 6 inches, and it becomes cost 1. So he can get, whatever, counter-strike defense, stuff like that. But when you're using Simian Trickery, who has key for that?
Exactly.
So
that's the big one for him.
Yeah, the Simian Trickery is the bread and butter for Taiki and Nisuru. While he's within 6 inches of Nisuru, he can choose to either place himself in base to base with Nisuru or place Nisuru in base to base with him, with Taiki. If either in base to base with an enemy model, the other has to be placed into base to base. So I did some Simian Trickery where I would outnumber enemies by teleporting in or just using the duo to teleport to get scenario pressure. Just kind of maneuvering. The other nice thing with him is being a monk villager, he allows you to take the traps that everyone hates.
He allows the monks to have traps, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the traps are nice, but when you're only taking like 2 or, even if you max out, because he only gets access to 2 of the traps, not the third, because he's not a peasant hunter or whatever the other type is, so he can't take the animal traps, I believe. So it's still annoying, but
you still can get 4 traps.
6 extra rice out of your list just to get 4 traps. So, and you're not dealing with snare spam necessarily.
Yeah.
So I really like him. He's an average fighter, but he teleports around the board. He really makes your opponent go, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get this little monkey, Nisuru, who only has a melee stat of 2, but he is just amazing in combat.
He gets coordinated attacks, so that helps.
Definitely. Right. Speed 5. He has a key stat of 2/0, which shocked a lot of people at Adepticon.
Yeah, I remember the first time that one happened. I was like, damn, I can't control this asshole.
Yep.
You can. It's just not easy.
It takes a little bit more effort than what it should be, you feel like, especially for a 6-point model.
Well, yeah, 6. I'll let Cody go through it, but I'm seeing my my things here, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean the strengths are that key stat. He's got dodge 2, so even though he only has 3 hit points, he usually can survive if you're not playing against Jason's dice. He scouts up the board 4 inches. He's got 6th Sense, which I don't really understand why, because he's got a special ability where all models within 3 inches can't be surprised. Yeah, that actually is very handy, but it works for both yourself and your opponent.
Yeah.
Which had a couple gotchas on myself because I was like, oh, I'm going to surprise you. And then I brought him in, and then I was like, crap, you're not surprised.
No, I am not.
And then the other nice thing with Nisaru is that enemy models in base to base have to increase the cost of all key feats and special attacks and defenses by 1. So that's
a big one.
It's really, really awesome when you remember that that's on the back of his card.
Yes, that puts that makes Hiroto think twice. Yeah, well, he won't think twice about it. Won't make him think twice about Eagle Flight Defense. But a lot of the ones that have to pay 1 in the first place now paying 2. That's a whole different story.
Well, even on a model that pays 0, all of a sudden you got to pay 1 to have access to sidestep defense, even though it's like instead of like absolutely auto include. Now it's like, do I? I mean, I'm still probably going to do it, but do I want to risk it because I know I'm going to be outdiced?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this duo is really fun. There's definitely weaknesses. The key stat on Taiki, the monkey can be controlled. You take one or the other out, they're not as good. They really need each other. Yeah.
But the movement shenanigans that you could do with them are redonkulous.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I forgot to mention too. So with Taiki, if you you move Taiki into combat, you don't bring Nisaru in, you leave Nisaru out, he's unengaged. You go through the combat sequence, so as long as you have initiative, you throw everything in attack, and then it's like step 12 or whatever of the melee exchange.
11B.
Yeah, whatever it is. So
we've had to reference that too many damn times now ever since someone had to spell it out.
Yeah.
Right. So at 11B, you use Simian Trickery and you teleport him out. Your attack damage goes off, but you don't get retaliated against. I did not use that. Yeah, I never used it that way during Adepticon. I used him more as a nuisance and an objective runner.
Yeah,
but it was nice having that in my back pocket. But I did basically every single opponent except Master Enos because he knows the model and he reads the Discord. But I basically let everybody know that was a thing prior to the game, just because I wanted to make sure they were aware and could ask questions so we could clarify before we were like in the heat of the battle, and then they're like, hey, wasting time for rules. So
no, that was a smart way to do it, because again, that's one of those gotchas that you feel like all of a sudden your pants are pulled down, and and you're like, oh crap. Which, that's how I feel every game I play Bushido, mostly because I do play with my pants down. Which is why I'm not allowed in the friendly local game store anymore.
Okay. I mean, I like Taiki Nisaru a lot. I definitely think, though, to get them to play right, they're that like next, like if you're ready to like kind of jump into that next level of figures, because they're not as straightforward as some of the other ones, because there's definitely a level of like planning to it. Not super deep, but you definitely gotta. I feel like that's like your that's like your graduation model from like, all right, here's point and shoot. Here's like, all right, now I can do some fun stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't take them as like a starter box edition.
No. I would say
unless you're familiar with the game already. Like if it's your second or third army or something, then yeah, by all means. But if you're just getting into Bushido, then I would hold off on these guys just because of that added complexity, and you would have more fun with a Kawanorogen or a Master Po or Master Kari.
Yeah, they I mean, the movement shenanigans alone that they do will keep people on their toes. It'll give you advantages. They're not as straightforward. I guess the trick of it is they're not as straightforward as a Master Akari at flipping objectives in a ridiculous way. But I think that's the trick. You don't see it coming. Even though you know it's possible, you don't necessarily see it coming. So
it does what it's supposed to do.
It does what it's supposed to do. And then they don't look like they're going to be potent in combat until next thing you know, you're in combat with them. Whether it's you're in combat with Nezuru, and then all of a sudden Taiki comes in and then Nezuru punches you again. Or
the opposite, even.
Or the opposite, or Taiki's, goes full offensive and then, think, oh, I'm going to get this guy. And then he pulls out, he pulls out.
He's the king of pulling out.
Yeah. And on that note,
what's your honorable mention?
What's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention. Oh, I messed up. I should have said that my number one was my model that I'm making. But anyway.
Oh, snap.
It's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so my
we'll
honorable
let the community
mention,
decide on that one when it finally comes out.
Yeah, it's not going to be broken. It's Yuki.
Okay.
Yuki.
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually,
that's part of it.
Well, that's a sad thing. The author of Yu-Gi-Oh just passed away a day or two ago. I saw.
Oh, wow.
So I picked Yuki because she is 16 rice and has a base melee pool of 4.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good.
She was a close one for my honorable mention, almost breaking the top 3 because she's like Akari light to me.
She made my list for what I was thinking of taking for a top 3.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with Master Poe, but I put him in 3 just because I think he's more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
But Yuki, she's a lot of fun. Like I said, 16 rice, so you can fit her into most lists. She's got Counter-Strike defense, sidestep defense, so another defensive air model. And she's an air monk, so you can throw on any of the other elements if you're playing initiation, and she's pretty sturdy still to live, so you're not getting rid of your elements for theme. Ability, just base stuff: bravery, jump up, kata, light-footed, nothing too crazy or out of the norm for Temple. And then I really like her because she has Rain of Blows, which gives her lightning reflexes and combo 0.
That's a nice one.
The main thing is vitality.
Oh, yeah.
So she gets that 3rd activation. She's a great activation flipper. She loves the Garinto being close to her turn 1. And then her unique effect is in the starting phase, she can be placed within 1 inch of her current location. So I really enjoy that just because it helps with positioning, those objective flipping, or, in the final round when she's tied up by a freaking Koji's pack for 2.5 turns because she can't seem to kill it.
See, so that was someone's experience at Adepticon.
Yeah. I had to bring my own Koji's pack over to kill the stupid Koji's pack. It was awful.
Oh my gosh, it's the epitome of monkey knife fight because it's monkeys fighting each other.
Yeah. That Koji's pack was MVP. Killed the Koji's pack and the named fisherman.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. It was kind of sad, but
oh, Jace, sorry, I'm disturbing Cody's talk, but I thought for your card, the ability rabies. Think about that. We'll work on the details later.
There you go. But yeah, overall, she, like I said, she's really good. She does, even though she's defensive, if you kind of forget that she's more of a defensive model, she does die easily.
Yeah. I think that holds true for just about any Temple model, except for maybe Kenko,
Riku, and Tsuchiro. The more
basically
tougher.
All the earth iron. Because even Haru, he's got the regrowth and all of that. But
they can. Yeah. I like her. And I was really torn about taking her, and it was pretty much for the same things as you. Nice cost, for melee pool and the vitality. You know, you put her in with Master Kari, and you have 2 models that can have a whole bunch of extra activations. And in a game where activations really are important, as we've learned from the UK Grandmasters, with Ryu getting a ridiculous, you know, going infinity levels of activations on somebody on just one model, or, you know, in this one, even if you just have Master Kari and Yuki getting 3, which Master Kari could do without breaking a sweat,
Right.
and Yuki doing just by standing near the Grinto to start, you know, that changes things. You know, it makes things better. And again, her point cost is what really that really makes her a very attractive option. And having that key feat on there specifically, you know, does she come in the starter set? I don't think so.
No.
She's one that I would probably definitely, if you're looking for something to, she's that one that kind of branches, I would think, between your starter set and then going with some of the more elite master monks, because she has some of those things that you could add into it.
Yeah, I really like her and even Riku, because they're both Riku 17. He's also 4 base. I was kind of going back and forth between the two of them because they're both scenario based monks. You know, Yuki can run around, grab objectives and whatnot, and Riku is more of a zone, but he can also push people off of idols with Tsunami, and he's just an all around solid fighter.
Pretty much.
He's a lesser version of what's his name, the big water dragon. Ryujin, who uses Tsunami. I hate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I think here's the important part, because we've actually got a little bit of discussing to do.
Okay.
What's the group top 3? Because the only model that we all had in common was the bull. So I mean, we're not doing voting on that, because I definitely don't think it's a number 1. But but then it's I would be okay putting that as a solid number 2. But now, what model would we say would be on 3 and 1 based on at least the top 3s that we talked about before we really think about honorable mentions? Because I know me and you, Greg, had a Kari.
I see. I still have a problem putting a Kari number 1. I think Kawa no Rojin is a solid number 2.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think can say that too. I just put him for number 1 just from personal preference. Otherwise, he probably would have met my number 2.
Yeah, I think Akari is, as much as I can't put him at number 1, I got to put him in at number 3 though. He definitely makes the top 3. But I put him at the 3.
On who's your number 1 then, based on some of the leftovers that we had, because we've got Tsuchiro, we've got Yakuza, Taiki. So I mean, those are all kind of outlying characters, and all of those are almost better at like a number 3 spot or a number 2 spot than I would say for number 1.
I would argue Poe at number 1.
I could see Poe at number 1. Yeah. Sorry, I just changed views here.
Just for the simple fact that as a beginning player, he's pretty user friendly. He does have some complexity to him, but user friendly. He's, like I said, jack of all trades. He's a sturdy model, and he also helps you. You know, if you're not going with the starter box, you're just buying models, he's a quarter of your list. So
yeah, I can see
because then when he dies, it's a quarter of your list.
That's why I think when I'm looking at it, I still think I could put Master Yakuza in there as the number 1. I'm torn between him and Poe.
Yeah, I would be okay with
Yakuza's 3 points cheaper, and he does a whole lot of supporting for that. And like I said, and support not just by his traits with channeling and leeching and healing and the rest of it, but just by shutting something down.
Yeah.
I mean, if we really want to go crazy, we could say, you know, your number 1 is little girl Akio.
No.
Too weak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she holds a specific function, but I mean, the fact also is that she didn't even make it into any of our top 3s nor an honorable mention. I'd rather take an honorable mention at that point.
Well, I had a hard time just in general, because it was like
picking between your favorite children.
Well, combination of that, and then you also have basically 2 armies combined into make Temple, because you have the villagers and you have the monks. And when you look at all of them together, the monks are pretty much always going to be better than the villagers.
Yeah,
outside of the bull, but he's a special.
He's a special corner case.
But just like melee and all that. But then you look at villagers in theme, and it's like, oh, you know, now you're talking. You've got, of course, I don't have the theme pulled up. You've got Kato, you've got Kentaru, you've got the Fox people, you've got, you know, stuff like that. And it's like completely different. I mean, we didn't really talk about the figure Master Enos, but I had a hard time actually not picking him either.
I wasn't really, I mean, he's got some cool abilities. I wasn't super interested. I was actually more interested in the one with the tiger and the deer, but when I started looking more into her, it's like, that'd be a more honorable mention or a 3 spot for me.
I mean, I'd also be okay with saying Kenko, number 1. Similar reasons to Poe.
Yeah. If see, yeah, I don't know. So I think this might be the one time where we're a little bit stymied, because we have a lot of choices.
Koji's
pack number 1.
That's the winner for everybody. I mean, I would be okay. Cody makes a good point, and I mean, if I'm thinking of it more from based on our talk, but just Cody made a good point for what people who are either new getting into this or adding into your collection. Of course, these are all the things, but you can't really go wrong with Poe. He's a fairly, I won't say he's a fairly safe, but he's a fairly straightforward model, and it does take a bit of effort to take him down. It's not like going to be, except for that one off where someone's going to have a really good die roll and just blank your best model. It's going to take actually a bit of effort to take Poe down. Because he can mitigate most of the dice reduction abilities in the game.
I think what Poe is the biggest thing that you're going to do is you're going to overextend him.
Yeah,
and he'll
overextend, but you're going to kill something.
Unlike Yuki, unlike Akari, he's the one that you can't overextend with.
That's true.
You know, Yuki or Akari you can get away with because you can
try to vitality and get out.
You can try to vitality, or you have vivacity and you can extra activation and pull your ass out of it. Taiki and Nezuru, you know, you could overextend Taiki really easy.
I think
but you could pull him out.
At Adepticon, I think he died every single game.
But he did what he needed to do.
Exactly.
So, but he's designed to be overextended, but 10 points is super expendable.
Yeah, and 16 for the package.
Yeah, 25 is not so expendable.
I know, but
you got to get your money back on them.
You do, but I mean, at least you know you're taking something out. If you end up getting yourself in that overextended situation, I don't see a lot of times where Poe is going to overextend himself and all of a sudden be like, I didn't kill what I was going after.
See, and I think what I'm looking at, and the reason why I'm probably going to fight for Master Yakuza a bit on this one is, one, it's almost impossible to overextend him.
True. Well, by design, yeah.
By design, he can't. And even if he does get stuck in, because it's a cav move, and it's a move, not a walk.
Thanks, Craig.
He will.
That's my shout out right now.
He'll step out of it, and problem solved. But he is going to, with his key feats, he's got one game changing key feat, kind of like Hiroto Black Eagle.
Yep.
But his key feat affects everybody. Hiroto, it just affects him and who
it affects that one instance versus
it affects that one instance where Master Yakuza affects an entire game turn, and if he blows enough key on it,
he's going to cover the board.
He could cut. Well, he covers a good 10-inch, which 20-inch if it's diameter.
Yeah, but how it reads also too, you can't even go through the damn bubble. So if once you enter that bubble, you're screwed. So that's the nice thing too, because it's basically an aura.
Are you really screwed, or are you just happy?
You're really high.
My counter to Master Yakuza is that he is not available for everyone to buy.
Oh, they haven't.
You got me there.
The model yet?
You got me there. So I think that just tipped the scale there. Thank you, Grandmaster Cody.
Wait, I thought that they came out with the resculpt. I thought that was available, or is that not available yet?
It's not available yet. They're
so the only way
they're still working on scaling and stuff, or at least that's what Gordon was telling me at Adepticon.
Gotcha. So the only way you can get access to them then is through the old, like the last edition starter box. Then at this point, unless you get lucky and find like a used one on the secondary market,
scalped on eBay, or
if you somehow manage to have 2 of them for some reason,
then you're scalping somebody for it.
Well, no, it's just because Josh has one, and I paint all of his figures, so I have it. And then
same thing. It's the same. Or you get lucky and you find at your local friendly game store, like me and Brian did with those last edition starters, and we got those for cheap.
Yeah, that was
I got that for the cult one, so I got a copy of Kato, which I know that's another tough one.
So I think that kind of made up the mind here. So based on the fact that you can't get Master Yakuza at the moment, our number 1 is going to be Master Po. So number 1, Master Po. Number 2, Kawano Rojin. And number 3, Master Kari.
I know we all shake our head at the bowl.
The bull's the bull. I mean, again, you almost had me there, but I mean, the fact when Cody's like, you can't get access to it, I didn't even realize that was like an issue. I didn't think about it. I just knew that they came out with a resculpt. I didn't actually think about miniature availability.
Oh yeah, it's kind of big.
That's a huge.
I want to go out
for we're talking about this.
Talking to new, possible new players or even veteran players, like, wow, yeah, I think I'm gonna get this new faction. Wow, Greg's right. Master Q's is freaking awesome, and I'm gonna use him. Blah 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 blah. But I can't get him.
Yeah,
not without parting with a lot of money.
F you, possibly. Greg. F you. Now I hope Hikari and F you up in every game that you play against Jason. Don't worry, that's going to happen anyway, so you don't have to wish it upon me. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, eventually it will.
Oh, well, wow. So we covered a lot of ground tonight. We talked about new figures that are coming out. We've talked about what we've been doing during our summer break. Painting the figures.
Except
mine look like crap. Cody's does not.
Jason are still better than me.
Well, that's because I painted them and you did not.
I mean, I have figures based. So I mean, I got.
Ooh, he's got the base. That's
I had them
3 steps towards actually getting them painted. So we hope we did a lot, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. This was a good discussion, and I will say
this was one of our more in-depth one where we weren't more concise, where we weren't on like agreement on a lot of things, especially with our number 1 pick, because it wasn't like a majority pick either.
No, it wasn't, and again, it was rough. And while a lot of things were the same, so there were a lot. Temple in general. So if you're looking at a faction, Temple in general has a lot to offer, a lot of good things to offer. But as Cody kind of pointed out, you're either playing A or B, and let's be honest. If A is monk and B is villagers, A looks damn sexier than villagers.
Also, if you want to have friends, play monks.
Yeah, because unfortunately they built B as the nuclear option.
Well,
so
I'm hoping that they come out with a more like Serpent's Coil type theme that you could take a little. There's some bonuses, but it encourages you to take some villagers and take some monks.
Well, especially since all of the villagers have abilities that go with monks. Like if you take a monk, they lose cowardly or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So it's like it
would make sense.
Design they want you to, but there's no theme yet.
Right. And they're not Silver Moon levels of good playing without a theme.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but what is? They don't have a Wasapu. That's the only difference.
I mean, I won with. I mean, technically, I took.
It was order for battle, so that's a theme.
Okay, whatever.
That's a theme.
You weren't me, Cody. You weren't me. Where it's like, oh, hey, wait, I got order for battle. That's right. Versus me, like, I don't have a theme. Fuck it.
We'll be Grandmaster 2023. No theme temple. Calling it.
No theme temple. All right. That's. So all of you players who are coming to Adepticon 2023. You know what he's building. He's building temple, and it's not going to be in a theme.
He'll change his
Brace yourself. Again. I know he will.
I've already got 3 versions of a temple list. Couple Jung.
It's going to be Void Monks.
You've got your Ryu list that I know we talked about before.
I'm not playing that.
Oh, you got rid of it already?
Yeah. I might mess around with it, but...
He's going to play Ito just to show me up.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Alrighty here. So these are our thoughts here. Hope you enjoyed, like always. Thank you just for being here for us. I mean, we're episode 12 at this point, and we still keep on going strong.
Episode
So
12, and at least 15 people are listening, so we appreciate it.
yeah, at least. So as always, like and subscribe for those of you on YouTube. There's also the notifications just to let you know, even though I'm pretty sure YouTube algorithm spits out our videos hopefully towards the top of your stuff.
Someday we'll have swag. Someday we'll have cool contests. Someday we'll do something where it's worthwhile for you to subscribe other than to get that notification ahead of time. Wow, I'm really not selling subscribe. Subscribe, damn it.
Yeah. I mean, like we sell these models per some of our members on Discord that we end up selling the models better than everything else. So we're trying to sell this. And
Yes.
as always, subscribe to Spite the Young People, aka my sister, so I can brag in front of her. That's the main thing.
Stay off our internet lawn. Thank you as always for joining us. We really do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you down the road, whether you live in the Midwest or not, Midwest of the United States, or Lord knows, we'll get out and about hopefully someday here. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a great day or evening, wherever you may be. Other than to get that notification ahead of time. Wow, I'm really not selling subscribe. Subscribe, damn it.
Yeah.